All glories to Lord Chaitanya's appearance day, ki jai. All glories to Lord Chaitanya's appearance day, ki jai. All glories to Lord Chaitanya's world mission, ki jai. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Sudaswarupananda Paramahansa Niti Namine Namo Sudaswarupananda Paramahansa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate. For speaking, first to offer my respectful obeisances under the lotus feet of my spiritual master, Jagakuru Sudaswarupananda Srila Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada is the mercy manifestation of Lord Chaitanya, Gaura Karuna Swarupaya, very dear to Radha and Krishna, Radha Krishna Prastayate. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Bhivacha, Patitanan Pavenbhyo, Vaishnavbhyo, Namo Namaha. Offer my respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who like wish-fulfilling trees, able to fulfill all the desires of the fallen living entities and are full of compassion upon them. Ebo, namaste. Thank you for inviting me to speak on Lord Chaitanya's appearance day, which is a wonderful occasion where we can reflect upon the appearance of Lord Chaitanya and all that he is giving us through his disciples and his disciplic succession that has come following the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And so we have the opportunity to chant Krishna's names because Lord Chaitanya appeared and inaugurated the Harinam Sankirtan and broke open the storehouse of Prema Bhakti, like a whole warehouse full of divine love that he spread throughout the entire universe. And we are the recipients of this wonderful love. So sometimes we, I was thinking, as I was thinking about what I would speak about today, I was thinking about, all the different verses and, things to know, right? We can know a whole bunch of facts about Lord Chaitanya. We might be a great scholar, we might be able to recite lots of Bhagavad Gita verses, or we might know all the Vedic literatures and be very authoritative. But actually, what's important is having love for Krishna, developing actual love for Krishna. As Srila Prabhupada has so many times made clear, in fact, he used to sing this really nice song, or he had this really nice song, that it's not so easy to change my heart, Lord. I can change my dress, I can put on devotional clothing, or I can cut my hair in a certain way, or if I'm a woman, I can wear a sari, or I can get nose rings, or whatever. We can do all sorts of things that make us look like a devotee of Krishna. But actually a devotee of Krishna is someone who has love for Krishna. And so this is the goal of life, the highest goal of life, prayojana, meaning the highest goal of life, which Lord Chaitanya appeared to teach, that we should develop pure love for Krishna, that this is the goal of life. So I was going to speak from Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. So there are three very prominent biographies of Lord Chaitanya. There are several others as well, and but there's three that are most prominent. And the most prominent of these is the Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, the beautiful nectarine pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Amrita, nectar. And this is written by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And and this, of course, is the biography of Lord Caitanya that His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada translated. In fact, actually, he did a lot of the translation here in Hawaii. He came to Hawaii to have the opportunity to just stay and focus on finishing his translation. And then after he translated it, he then wanted it published within, I think it was 6 weeks. So his disciples were planning, we'll publish this over a period of perhaps 18 months. And he said, no, not 18 months. Wanted it all done in a very short time. I think it was 6 weeks. Anyway, they were able to do it. And so all the Sri Caitanya Charitamritas, all the wonderful artwork and the Bengali text and the transliteration into English, and then the translation and the purports, and all the wonderful photos and artwork was all done extremely quickly and then published. I remember when I first started chanting, the Chaitanya Charitamritas were all available in one go, whereas the Srimad Bhagavatam was being slowly translated every 6 months or so. More volumes of the Srimad Bhagavatam would come out. And actually, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada had earlier written the teachings of Lord Caitanya. And this teachings of Lord Caitanya, he put together, because he was concerned about how long he had left in this world. He'd already suffered a heart attack on the Jaladuta, and then he had either another heart attack or a stroke or something in 1966 or 67. And so he didn't know how long he had left in this world. So then he wanted to give his disciples, to give us the teachings of Lord Caitanya. And so he wrote us the teachings of Lord Caitanya, which is a discussion on the 5 main conversations that Lord Caitanya had with Prakasananda Saraswati, the impersonalist sannyasi in Benares. His conversation with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Jagannath Puri, and his conversation with Ramananda Roy on the banks of the Kaveri River, and then also his later conversations with Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami. So these conversations, these 5 conversations that Lord Caitanya had, set out Lord Chaitanya's teachings very clearly. And these then sort of became a foundation for Lord Chaitanya's sampradaya, or the lineage or tradition coming from Lord Caitanya. We're in the Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya sampradaya. So Brahma refers to Lord Brahma, the original being within this universe. Madhva Acharya, the great 12th century or so Acharya. And then Gaudiya refers to Gauda, or the province of Bengal, where in India, where Lord Caitanya appeared. And so there's these teachings of Lord Caitanya set out in Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's book, The Teachings of Lord Caitanya, sets out the key ideas and the key teachings of Lord Caitanya. And so these were from the Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. And so then a number of years later, then Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada wanted to give us the entire Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, so which he then, as I mentioned, completed and then had published very quickly. So this is the most authoritative biography, or not necessarily authoritative, but it is the one that contains the most philosophy and teachings of Lord Caitanya. Like the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is very much the pastimes of Lord Caitanya. in particular the early pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, and not so much philosophy. And then also the Sri Chaitanya Mangala by Lochan Das Thakur has many pastimes as well. So anyway, in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the first chapter of Adi Lila, so it's divided into three parts. Adi Lila, Adi meaning the beginning pastimes, the Madhya or the middle, and then Ancha or the end. So the Adi Lila is the early pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Madhya Lila is the middle pastimes after Lord Chaitanya took sannyas and then moved to Jagannath Puri. And then in his first 6 years of living at Jagannath Puri, he also toured much of India. And this was when 4 of the conversations that I described of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Roy, Srila Rupa Goswami, and Srila Sanatana Goswami, these are contained within the Madhya Lila. And then in the Ancha Lila, the final 18 years of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes on this earth in Jagannath Puri, where he was just in divine rapture and absorbed completely in the mood of love for Krishna, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and all kinds of experiencing all kinds of spiritual ecstasy, which we can only which we can hear about and study and hope to appreciate and gain a taste for the love for Krishna that Lord Chaitanya had. So in the Adi Lila, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, in the initial 5 or 6 chapters, 7 chapters, I think, he describes who Lord Chaitanya is. He describes who Lord Nityananda is, and Advaita Acharya, and then describes Lord Chaitanya in his 5 features as the Panchatattva. Panchatattva being, Lord Chaitanya as being Krishna himself, Lord Nityananda being the expansion of Krishna, Sri Advaita being the incarnation of Krishna, Gadadhar being the internal potency of Krishna, and Srivas being the pure devotee. So these are the 5 features of Lord Chaitanya. So in these first 6 or 7 chapters, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami very clearly establishes who Lord Chaitanya is and who Lord Nityananda is. And it's a wonderful work. And I've been reading these initial chapters as I've been preparing for tonight's class and a few other classes that I am giving on Lord Chaitanya's appearance. And in Adi Lila, in chapter 1, text 3 to text 6, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he sets out very nicely the reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance. And so I'll just read through these verses, and then I'm going to speak more on them. And I'll just get a drink before I do that. So this is text 3. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord known as the Supersoul is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. He has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Caitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Sachi Devi as the moon appeared from the ocean. So these are wonderful verses, explaining the reasons for the appearance of Lord Caitanya and who he is. So the first verse, what the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord known as the Supersoul is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Caitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with six opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. So the first point to understand about Lord Caitanya and his appearance is to understand who he actually is. So in this verse, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is making clear that Lord Caitanya is non-different than Krishna, that Lord Caitanya is Krishna himself, full with six opulences. So the six opulences of Krishna are Sri Bhagavan, Bhaga meaning opulence, and Van meaning full, which has been analyzed by Parasara Muni as the wealth, wisdom, fame, beauty, knowledge, strength, strength and renunciation. These are the six opulences. And Lord Caitanya is Krishna himself, full with these six opulences. He is the absolute truth. There is nothing higher than the truth of Lord Caitanya, or Lord Krishna, who is the source of all the material and spiritual worlds, and he has no other source. And there is no truth is greater than or equal to Krishna or Lord Caitanya. So Lord Krishna himself is the one undivided truth, the ultimate reality. He manifests himself in three features as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So the Brahman effulgence, the Brahmajyoti, the impersonal Brahman, is the effulgence of Lord Caitanya and Krishna's body. So this Brahman effulgence, which is the goal of the impersonalist yogis and meditators, is nothing but the effulgence of Krishna himself. And Paramatma is expansion that maintains the entire universe, where Krishna expands himself and is within the heart of every living being, is but an expansion of Lord Krishna or Lord Caitanya. So, and Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in this second chapter of the Adi Lila, he establishes very clearly that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I mean, sometimes people consider that Krishna is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. They see Narayana as the Supreme Person, and that Krishna is his incarnation. But Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami very authoritatively establishes that Krishna is Bhagavan Swayam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. And he, in doing so, he relies in particular on two very important verses, which devotees, if so inclined, should make an effort to remember. And the first is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, text 28, Chamsa Kala Pumsaha, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So, this, what Sutta Goswami has been describing, a number of expansions of Krishna, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he's been describing a number of them. But then he says, but all of these are portions or plenary portions of Krishna, that Krishna is Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the Supreme. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is, Srila Jiva Goswami's Satsandavas, which set out very authoritatively the philosophy of Lord Caitanya, places great emphasis upon this verse, as Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami does. This verse very authoritatively establishes that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that all incarnations are coming from him, that he is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the second key verse is Brahma Samhita, and we only have the 5th chapter. Actually, Lord Chaitanya, on his tour of South India, he went into a temple and came out with this 5th chapter of the Brahma Samhita. And the Brahma Samhita, of course, is spoken by Lord Brahma. And when he found himself upon the lotus flower at the beginning of the universe, having no idea where he was, and after engaging in austerity, he then he received a divine vision of the spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavan, and then he speaks or sings this Brahma Samhita. And the first verse is Ishvara Parama Krishna Sakshirananda Vigraha Anadya Radya Govindaha Sava Karana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is Ishvara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the cause of all causes, Sava Karana Karanam, and he has no other cause. There is no cause other than himself. And so these two verses establish that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he then says, he whom Srimad Bhagavatam describes as the son of Nanda Maharaj, as Krishna, has descended to earth as Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, descended to this earth. He is the source of the Brahman effulgence and the Paramatma. Bhagavan Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the cause of the Brahman effulgence, and Lord Paramatma is his expansion. And so Lord Chaitanya is non-different from Krishna. So, the question must arise, well, why does Krishna appear as Lord Chaitanya? Why does Lord Chaitanya appear, in this age of Kali Yuga, appearing 500 years ago in Navadvip, Bengal? Why does Lord Chaitanya appear? So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gives the following reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance. And he divides them into two categories. And one he describes as the external reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance. And then the second category is his internal reasons. So this is very, interesting and quite amazing, that the way Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has analyzed this and presented these reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance. So the external reasons for his appearance, his first reason is to inaugurate the religion of the age, the chanting of Krishna's names, the Harinam Sankirtan movement. So Lord Chaitanya, as Krishna himself, Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 4, verses 7 and 8, that he appears to reestablish the principles of religion. He appears to annihilate the miscreants, to protect the devotees, and to reestablish the principles of religion. And he appears, Krishna says, he appears yuga after yuga, age after age. So when Krishna appears, he reestablishes the principles of religion. And in the different yugas, in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Krishna appeared in different incarnations to teach the method in Satya Yuga, the method of meditation, which was the type of God realization for the Satya Yuga. In Treta Yuga, he appeared and taught the method of sacrifice. And in Dwapara Yuga, he appeared incarnated as Prithu Maharaj and taught opulent deity worship. And then in Kali Yuga, Lord Krishna appears as Lord Chaitanya, and he inaugurates the Harinam Sankirtan, the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. And when Lord Chaitanya was having his conversation with Prakasananda Saraswati in Benares, the Prakasananda Saraswati was telling Lord Chaitanya, why are you engaging in all this emotional, what is all this chanting and dancing in the streets? What is going on? The duty of a sannyasi is to study Vedanta. Vedanta is this, like highly philosophical, very cryptic sutras coming from the Upanishads. And they're very cryptic, and thus there's different commentaries upon them. And one can speak and study these Vedanta sutras in great depth. And so Prakasananda Saraswati was saying to Lord Chaitanya, this is the duty of a sannyasi. But Lord Chaitanya responded to Prakasananda Saraswati that he didn't have the ability to study this Vedanta. His spiritual master had Ishvara Puri, his spiritual master, had told him that he wasn't very intelligent and that he should engage in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, that in Kali Yuga, it's Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva keva, Kalo nisteva, 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 gatir anyatha. That in this age of quarrel, chaos, and confusion, we should just chant the holy names, chant the holy names, chant the holy names. That there is no other way, no other way, no other way for God realization in this age of quarrel, chaos, and confusion. So this says it 3 times, no other way, no other way, no other way. So Lord Chaitanya, he, taught the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. And, spiritual master Srila Prabhupada has been emphasizing so much the importance of chanting Krishna's holy names. This is the most important thing. The holy names are so purifying. We can't, with our material mind, we can't understand the impact that the holy name has upon our lives, but it cleanses our hearts and allows us to taste transcendental knowledge, allows us to taste love for Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya, through his mercy, began the Harinam Sankirtan movement. So this was one of the external reasons for his appearance. So Lord Chaitanya said, I shall personally, this is Krishna speaking actually, I shall personally inaugurate the religion of the age, Nama Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. I shall make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the four mellows of loving devotional service. So Lord Chaitanya, so this point that he's going to, I shall make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the four mellows of loving devotional service. So Krishna speaking when he's thinking about appearing in this world, he's saying, everywhere in the world, people worship me according to scriptural injunctions. But simply by following such regulative principles, one cannot attain the loving sentiments of the devotees in Brajabhumi or Vrindavan. Knowing my opulences, the whole world looks upon me with awe and reverence, but devotion made feeble by such reverence does not attract me. So generally speaking, people worship God as the Supreme Lord, the Creator of the universe. And it's known as Aishwarya. We worship God in the mood of awe and reverence, like, oh dear God, please don't hit me, don't hurt me, or dear God, please give me what I want. We're worshiping in a mood of awe and reverence. But Krishna he's not so attracted to this worship in the mood of awe and reverence. And so he actually, part of Krishna's reason for appearing in Vrindavan Dham and bringing the entire spiritual world with him and manifesting his loving relationship with his cowherd boyfriends, his parents, and with his cowherd girlfriends, the gopis and Srimati Radharani, is so that we can be attracted to Krishna's loving affairs as in the mood of Vrindavan. And so Lord Chaitanya appears to actually teach us how to love Krishna in the mood of Vrindavan, not in the mood of awe and reverence. So the second reason for Lord Chaitanya's appearance, the second external reason, is to teach devotional service while practicing it himself and bestow love of God. So in Adi Lila, chapter 3, text 20, Krishna says, I shall accept the role of a devotee and I shall teach devotional service by practicing it myself. Unless one practices devotional service himself, he cannot teach it to others. This conclusion is indeed confirmed throughout the Gita and Bhagavatam. My plenary portions can establish the principles of religion for each age. No one but me, however, can bestow the kind of loving service performed by the by the residents of Braja. So not only has Krishna appeared as Lord Chaitanya to teach the chanting of Krishna's holy names, but he's appeared to teach devotional service. And so this devotional service, it's of course the sadhana bhakti that we practice, the devotional service in practice where we learn to follow the rules and regulations. This is, and chant the holy names and, but yet while we may be going through this process of sadhana bhakti, but we may not yet have pure love for Krishna. We don't have Krishna, spontaneous love for Krishna in the mood of the residents of Vrindavan. So part of Lord Chaitanya, one of the reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance is to bestow the kind of loving service bestowed by the residents of Braja. So this is known as Raganuga Bhakti. And so the third external reason for Lord Chaitanya's appearance is in response to Advaita Acharya's appeal. So This is also described in chapter 3. And Advaita Acharya says, in this age of Kali, there is no religion other than the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. But how in this age will the Lord appear as an incarnation? So Advaita Acharya, he was seeing how fallen the age of Kali Yuga was and how much quarrel, chaos, and confusion. And in particular in Nadia and Navadvip, there was just all these logicians, followers of Nyaya, logic. And there was no devotional service and no love for Krishna. And so Advaita Acharya was feeling very unhappy about this. And so he said, text chapter 3, 101, I shall worship Krishna in a purified state of mind, and I shall constantly petition him in humbleness. Shri Krishna, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, sells himself to a devotee who offers him merely a tulsi leaf and a palmful of water. So Advaita Acharya, he worshipped Krishna with water and a leaf, a tulsi leaf, and called upon Krishna to descend in this Kali Yuga and teach the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. So he appealed to Sri Krishna with loud calls and thus made it possible for Krishna to appear. So these are the external reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance. So to teach inaugurate the religion of the age, the chanting of Krishna's names, the Harinam Sankirtan movement, to teach devotional service while practicing it himself and bestow love for God, and in response to Advaita Acharya's appeal. So these are the external reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance. But then, in addition to these external reasons, Lord Chaitanya had his internal reasons. And Srila Rupa Goswami explains in his Stavamali, some of his prayers, which is quoted in Adi Lila chapter 4, text 52. Lord Krishna desired to taste the limitless nectarine mellows of the love of one of his multitude of loving damsels, Shri Radha. And so he has assumed the form of Lord Chaitanya. He has tasted that love while hiding his own dark complexion with her effulgent yellow color. May that Lord Chaitanya confer upon us his grace. So the internal reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance is, his wanting to taste the love that his devotees have for him. So Krishna, is amazed as he looks at his associates and the gopis, and of course, most of all, his topmost devotee, Srimati Radharani, is Paramore. So he looks at the love that they have for him, and he wants to taste it himself. Krishna wants to taste the love for him that his devotees have for him, and in particular that Srimati Radharani has for him. And so Lord Krishna desired to taste the limitless nectarine mellows of the love of Sri Radha. And so he has assumed the form of Lord Chaitanya. He has tasted that love while hiding his own dark complexion with her effulgent yellow color. So Lord Chaitanya is known as Gauranga, the golden-limbed one. So Lord Chaitanya is golden in complexion because he takes on the complexion and color of Srimati Radharani. So Gauranga is Radha and Krishna. Gauranga is Krishna covered with the mood and complexion of Srimati Radharani. Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed two bodies. Thus they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. Now to enjoy rasa, They have appeared in one body as Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to promulgate prema bhakti, devotional service and love of Godhead. Krishna appeared as Sri Krishna Chaitanya with the mood and complexion of Sri Radha. So then, beyond this, this description of Lord Chaitanya's wanting to appear, to taste the love that his devotees have for him, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami further explains in chapter 4 of Adi Lila that Krishna had, or that Lord Chaitanya has 3 desires that he wishes to fulfill in his appearance as Lord Chaitanya. So the first one is that he wants to taste Radha's love for him. I taste the bliss to which the object of love is entitled, but the pleasure of Radha, the abode of that love, is 10 million times greater. So Krishna experiences the bliss of love. He loves his devotees, but he's aware that Radharani's, the bliss that she has is 10 million times greater than the bliss that he has. My mind races to taste the pleasure experienced by the abode, by Srimati Radharani, the abode of love for Krishna. But I cannot taste it, even by my best efforts. How may I taste it? If sometime I can be the abode of that love, only then I may taste its joy. Thinking in this way, Lord Krishna was curious to taste that love. His eager desire for that love increasingly blazed in his heart. So Lord Krishna, his heart is blazing with desire to taste the love for himself that Srimati Radharani has. He sees that her love and the bliss that she experiences from that love is 10 million times greater than what he experiences. The second of the 3 internal desires of Lord Krishna is to taste his own sweetness. My sweetness is always newer and newer. Devotees taste it according to their own respective love. If I see my sweetness in a mirror, I am tempted to taste it, but nevertheless I cannot. If I deliberate on a way to taste it, I find that I hanker for the position of Radhika, who manifests an abundance of sweetness greater than mine, which has never been experienced before, and which causes wonder to all. Alas, I myself, my mind bewildered upon seeing this beauty, impetuously desire to enjoy it, like Srimati Radharani. Lord Krishna's own beauty attracts Lord Krishna himself, but because he cannot fully enjoy it, his mind remains full of sorrow. So Krishna sees how much Radharani is attracted to the sweetness of himself, but Krishna is attracted to his own beauty, but because he can't fully taste it, he desires to taste it. He desires to appear in the mood of a devotee so he can taste his own sweetness. And the third internal desire is to taste the conjugal mellow. In the conjugal mellow, there's not the slightest taint of lust in the gopis' love. Their relationship with Krishna is only for the sake of his enjoyment. The love of the gopis nourishes the sweetness of Lord Krishna. That sweetness in turn increases their love, and they are greatly satisfied. Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya is Krishna, Rajendra Kumara, the embodiment of rasas. He is amorous love personified. He made his appearance to taste that conjugal mellow and incidentally to broadcast all the rasas. So Krishna wants to taste Radha's love for him. He wants to taste his own sweetness, and he wants to taste the conjugal mellow. So in summary, Krishna says, unless I accept the luster of the ecstatic love of Sri Radhika, these three desires cannot be fulfilled. Therefore, assuming Radharani's sentiments and bodily complexion, I shall descend to fulfill these three desires. In this way, Lord Krishna came to a decision. So he decided how to taste these, how to fulfill these three internal desires he has. Simultaneously, the time came for the incarnation of the age. And at that time, Sri Advaita was earnestly worshipping him. Advaita attracted him with his loud calls. So all of these external reasons and internal reasons all came together at the time for the appearance of the teacher or of the Yugadam. So at the time, so Lord Krishna, he's considering all these different things after his appearance in his pastimes in Vrindavan. He's then thinking about these internal reasons for his appearance, to taste his own sweetness, to taste the love that Radha has for him, and to taste the conjugal mellows. So he's thinking about this, how he can experience these various tastes. And then at this he came to a decision that he would appear in the mood of a devotee as Lord Gauranga. And this coincided with the time for the incarnation of the age. And at that very time, Sri Advaita was earnestly worshipping him and attracted him with his loud call. First, Lord Krishna made his parents and elders appear. Then Krishna himself, with the sentiments and complexion of Radhika, appeared in Navadvip like the full moon from the womb of Mother Sachi, which is like an ocean of pure milk. So, Haribol, Namaste. So these are the reasons that Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gives for Lord Chaitanya's appearance. So Lord Chaitanya appears covered in the mood and complexion of Srimati Radharani to taste pure love for Krishna, to taste the conjugal mellow, to taste Srimati Radharani's love for him, and to taste his own sweetness, which simultaneously coincides with the time for the appearance of the incarnation for the age, to teach the chanting of the holy names of Krishna, and to bestow love for Krishna in the mood of the residents of Vrindavan. And at the same time, he's answering the call of his devotee, Sri Advaita. So I encourage you to read these chapters in Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. There's just so many wonderful verses and explanations given by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And so thank you very much for listening. So we'll just have another short kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The second time without the S. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribol, Gauranga, Jai Jai Gauranga, Haribol. Thank you so much, Sir Mahabhagavat Das.
Haribol.
And Ma'am Radisham for sharing that sweet and beautiful chanting and transcendental knowledge on the pastime of Lord Caitanya. We're very grateful to have you at this program. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Guranga. Jai Jai Lord Caitanya. Please accept our humble obeisances. Namaste.
Haribol, namaste. Thank you. Krishna, Krishna, Haribol.
Jai Lord Chaitanya. Haribol.
Haribol. Stay safe and keep well. Hope to see you again soon. Namaste.